The rain fell in silver sheets that evening, washing the dust off the narrow streets of the small town of Brenton. Inside a dimly lit café by the corner, a young woman named Lila sat by the window, tracing invisible lines on the fogged glass. Her suitcase rested by her feet, half open, half forgotten. She had no destination. No one waiting. No place to call home. "Would you like a refill?" the café owner asked softly, a woman in her late 50s with kind, watchful eyes. Lila nodded absent-mindedly, lost in the rhythm of raindrops hitting the glass. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice trembled with exhaustion, one that came not from the body, but from the soul. Lila had come to Brenton searching for work, but what she was really searching for was belonging. Her parents had died when she was 19, leaving her to float from city to city, job to job, like a leaf caught in a storm. Every place felt temporary. Every smile, conditional. Every kindness, fleeting. But that night, something shifted. When she looked up again, she noticed a little boy sitting by the counter, sketching quietly with crayons. He had messy brown hair and wore a hand-knitted sweater 2 sizes too big. Every few minutes, he'd glance at Lila shyly and then go back to his drawing. "That's my grandson, Noah," said the café owner with a smile. "He draws everyone who comes in. Says he likes capturing people's stories." Lila smiled faintly. "That's beautiful." Minutes later, the boy came up to her table and handed her a crumpled paper. "This is you," he said, his small voice brimming with pride. The sketch showed Lila sitting by the window, surrounded by soft light. But what caught her attention most was the expression on her drawn face, peaceful, almost radiant. It didn't look like her. It looked like the version of her she wanted to be. "Why did you draw me smiling?" she asked, her eyes misty. "Because you look like someone who's about to find home," Noah said innocently. The words struck her heart like sunlight through clouds. Over the next few weeks, Lila started working part-time at the café. What began as a job slowly turned into a rhythm of healing. She cleaned tables, served coffee, and listened to people's stories, travelers, lonely widows, struggling artists, students far from family. Each had a piece of pain, a fragment of love, and a spark of hope. In their stories, she began to see reflections of her own. She watched as the café transformed into more than a place, it became a sanctuary. The walls were filled with laughter, art, and the smell of cinnamon rolls. Strangers left as friends. It was a home built not by bricks and blood, but by hearts that had learned to stay. Still, deep down, Lila struggled with the feeling of impermanence. One night, after closing, she sat on the floor beside Noah and his grandmother, Mrs. Taylor. They were decorating a small Christmas tree with mismatched ornaments. Lila hesitated to hang one herself. Mrs. Taylor noticed. "Go on, dear. Pick one." Lila held a small, glass ornament shaped like a heart. "I've never decorated a tree before," she admitted softly. Mrs. Taylor placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Then you'll start today. Everyone deserves a piece of Christmas in their life." When Lila hung the ornament, something inside her shifted. It wasn't just about the tree. It was about finally allowing herself to belong to something, somewhere, someone. But life, as always, tested what she loved. One cold February morning, Mrs. Taylor collapsed in the kitchen. The café closed for a week. Lila stayed by her bedside in the hospital, holding Noah close as he cried silently. "She's all I have," he whispered. Lila squeezed his hand. "She's all we have." When Mrs. Taylor woke, weak but smiling, she said to Lila, "You've been the daughter I never had. Promise me you'll keep this place alive." Tears streamed down Lila's face. "I promise." Months passed. Mrs. Taylor recovered slowly, and the café reopened, warmer and fuller than ever. Lila managed it now, with Noah helping her at the counter. People noticed how the place glowed differently. The same walls, but new light. One evening, as Lila locked the café, Noah tugged her sleeve and said, "You know, Grandma says souls don't always find home in houses. Sometimes, they find home in people." Lila smiled, looking at the golden light spilling from the windows. "She's right," she whispered. "Because I found mine." Years later, travelers passing through Brenton still talk about the little café by the corner, the one that feels like home, even if you stay just for a cup of coffee. They say a woman named Lila runs it now, with a kindness that feels familiar, as if she sees the invisible stories inside every soul that walks through her door. And on the wall, there hangs a framed drawing, crayon on paper, of a young woman by a window, smiling softly, surrounded by light. Beneath it, in Noah's childish handwriting, are the words, "Home isn't a place. It's the soul that welcomes you." Moral message. Home isn't always the house we were born in. Sometimes, it's the place, or the people, who see us when we feel invisible, who remind us that even broken souls deserve to belong.